our topic is the Kleshas. What are the Kleshas? Kleshas, the actions that keep us from progressing on our spiritual path. It's things like ignorance, egoism, aversion, attachment, clinging to bodily life. All these things keep us away from our spiritual path. Not only that, even when we are on our spiritual path, they cause obstacles. Even if you're meditating for years and years and years, these things keep coming up. And the basis for all the others is ignorance. Ignorance. Now, what is ignorance? You may say, oh, I have a lot of knowledge. That is also ignorance. Because really, it is not knowledge that connects us. Yes, it helps. Of course, knowledge helps. But it's not what connects us. Spiritual knowledge is much, much deeper. Much, much deeper. It goes beyond the knowledge of the mind. In fact, for me, spiritual knowledge really comes, I feel it from my abdomen coming up to my heart. And spiritual knowledge comes from a place of, it feels like what we call love. It just feels warm and cozy and peaceful. So what is ignorance? What is ignorance? Is regarding the non-self as the self. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I really? Am I Nalanie? No. I didn't even choose my name. Somebody chose it for me. So, who came into the baby's body? I was energy. So who am I? What was that energy? Who am I when I leave this body? Nalanie, this tissue, this skin, these eyes, nose, mouth, will be cremated. She'll be burnt. I'm going to leave her totally behind, her lifestyle, her home, her clothes, her children, her grandchildren. She's going to be here in burnt ashes. So who am I? And this is a question that spiritual people have to journey. This question, who am I? Why am I on this earth? And the constant reminder is really, this is the truth. I really don't know who I am. I know we call it the big I that's connected to all else, but do I really know? So the search is that connection, because we cannot know that with our mind. We can only know it with experience. And then what else is ignorance? Regarding that which is impermanent as permanent. Everything in our lives. We think everything belongs to us. This is where control comes in. This is mine. This is where sorrow and pain comes in. You know? Oh, this is permanent. Suddenly, one day you're wealthy, next day you lose all your money. You lose your balance. One day you're in love with someone, married for so many years. Next day, you know, they're suddenly dead or you're divorced. You lose your balance. So everything is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. And a real good practice for that while you're in silence, is to kind of, it's a practice I did for a long time. And I'll give you a little story about how I work with that one. You know, for years I lived in a very little apartment. And then suddenly my dad called me up 23 years later and says, darling, I want to buy you a home. Anyway, he bought me this lovely penthouse, 4 bedrooms. He gave me all the money to decorate and do it up. Home of my dreams. Now the first night I moved in, I'd been meditating now for already 10 years or 12 years. And the first night I moved in, and I had a nightmare. The nightmare was my apartment, my new house was burning down. And I woke up and I go, oh my God, what's happened? Just one day, and I already became attached to this home. And I've already said, it's my home, it's mine. And because I got attached, fear came in of losing it. And because the fear was so subtle, I didn't even know it was there. It was so subtle that it came up in a dream. So I remember getting up the next morning and telling my husband, oh my God, you know, all these years of practice and moving into this house, one night, attachment brought fear. I really don't want this fear anymore. So the next morning, I went through everything in the house, the new furniture, everything. You know what? Nothing belongs to me. Nothing is mine. It's not my sofa, it's not my kitchen, it's all on loan. And I did this practice for nearly a year. And so when many years later, 10 years later, my husband's business wasn't doing so well, and the property I bought had gone up 3 times in value, it was very easy for me to sell it, get the money and retire with my husband. You see, when you let go, when you realize nothing is permanent, what happens to you is it's easy to let things go. You don't suffer so much. Pain that is yet to come is avoidable, Sri Patanjali tells us. It is avoidable. And that's what I realized. And that I was so grateful to be able to sell the home without any anger and really quite excited of tomorrow's challenge. And I must say now, I've got a really nice home and I got it for a really good price, twice as big as my penthouse. How does it work? I don't know. From the money I sold from that, I bought this at a time when things were really down in Spain. So, you know, when you start to understand that nothing is permanent, you don't cling. When you don't cling, there's a freedom inside, and that freedom is really peaceful. So, when we're ignorant, we regard everything as permanent, and then we get attached. And when we get attached, then we don't want to let go. When we don't want to let go, well, we have to, because sometimes we don't have a choice, and we suffer a lot. That's all. We suffer a lot. We're not in the spiritual dimension. We're in negativity. We're in a low material field. Our atoms in our body are not vibrating in balance. They're like all over the place. And the mind gets sick then. And then we get totally troubled. And how can a mind like that find peace? It's just not possible. It's so hard. So we need to watch for these things. And when we are silent and when we sit down, much of the fears will come out. They will come out. This is the great thing about meditation. It doesn't cure the problem, but it'll make you see the problem. And when you can see it, you can fix it. And how can you fix it? There's so many methods so many thousands of methods. Positive thinking, filling the mind with beautiful thoughts, reading swadhyaya, reading spiritual books, mantra chanting. Use something that makes you happy. For me, it's really important. You know, I love mantra chanting because I see Gurudev's face during the initiation mantra, and I can just feel lifted by him. But everybody can choose their own method. I sometimes love just putting beautiful images of people, my grandchildren in my mind, because they sing and dance a lot and they make me so happy. And then I see there is a pattern to life. It keeps moving, it keeps changing. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And the only thing I can leave behind is kindness and love. And hopefully that will bless my grandkids, you know, or my children. I don't know. That's not even in my hands. Nothing is. So this ignorance is based on this thing. Oh, it's permanent. And then regarding that which is painful as pleasurable. You know, I see so many people in my life who have addictions, all kind of addictions, you know, shopping addictions, emotional addictions, food addictions, drug addiction, alcohol addiction. I just meet so many people with so many addictions, sex addictions, honestly, I just meet them all the time. And of course, they regard those things as pleasurable, so they want them more and more and more and more. But really, in the long run, when they come and see me, they're broken, they're torn, they don't like themselves, their lives are a mess. And then it's a lot of work for them to relearn recompute mind. Some take years, some I have seen very lucky, they learn quick. But again, that's in their hands. Sri Patanjali tells us, to the keen and intent practitioner, this samadhi comes very quickly. So it depends on each one. And it's not a choice anybody can make for anybody. It's something people have to come to in themselves. So you know, sometimes when I see people suffering from ignorance, I really have so much compassion, because I realize it's hard. It's not a fault. It's what they've learned. It's what society has taught them, and they believed it. And then to discover that lots of the things we are told in our life are really not so true. You know, grow up, you have to have a good job, and you've got to make lots of money. You've got to get this, you've got to be better than that one. And we're not just told to be the happiest we can, the best we can, to live a good, clean life, and things will work, which is really the basis of all religions and all traditions. You want to be happy, you know, as you sow, so you will reap. So that is the first klesha. And because of ignorance, all the other problems start to happen. Of course, ignorance also can be in different stages. Ignorance in a baby, you can see very clearly, ignorance is bliss. Although I'm not so sure. Every time they're hungry, they're crying, they didn't sleep at night. I was just with a little baby niece of mine last week, and they were also stressed. But really, for the baby, it's bliss. They just cry when they want, and if they're hungry, they get fed. Then we have ignorance in a yoga practitioner, for example, the early stages. They have the information, they have the knowledge, they start the practice, but they're not well grounded yet. So they fluctuate, up and down, up and down, up and down, till one day when the yoga practitioner becomes firm and steady by all their practices, then when the ignorance comes up, they can see it very clearly. It can be really subtle. But you know, at this stage I have noticed for the advanced practitioner, what happens is, even if you don't notice, there's almost like there is this energy or God or divine universe that gives you something to knock you in the head for you to notice. Like in my case, I was so grateful for that nightmare. But you have to pay heed to what's happening, you see? Because we keep getting signs on how to grow spiritually, but sometimes we don't know how to listen to the signs. I think this is really important, to learn to listen. Why has this happened? And maybe it's happened, for me, everything happens for the best. Even when it's terrible, it's happened for the best, and I see this through the constitutions of my own life, you know. I seem to have 6 different lives in this one life already, and I have seen everything that I thought was painful in the early days has actually ended up to bring more peace and more joy and more learning. That's the most important thing. More humility, realizing that really, we know nothing, and experience is really what it's about. So that's been a great lesson for me. In the early days of spiritual knowledge, I think, really I'm very embarrassed to say this, but it's true. You know, there was a kind of ego, and I'm really glad to been blessed to be in the presence of Sri Swami Satchidananda, Guru, because every time I went wrong, he'd give me like, whoa, one sentence. And I used to realize it saved me 10 years of bad karma. So, yeah, that's part of the growth. And being humble, you know, just yesterday or Sunday, I took a young couple out for lunch, and this young boy asked me, he said, what is the difference between arrogance and self-confidence? Oh, I say, a person who's self-confident is actually very humble, very compassionate, very kind, and very happy and comfortable wherever that person is. A person who is arrogant, you will have the ability to make other people feel smaller, They also have this attitude where they think they know more than everybody else. And that is the truth. So if you find you're arrogant, watch your practice. Watch your practice. Watch your practice. It really helps. It really helps. And I was really glad to be taught by Sri Swami Satchidananda. Every time my ego became a little, clever, I think I know this or know that, I got a bit knocked. And then now, life is my greatest teacher, because life just gives you what you need to learn. And that's what I wanted to say. The more you practice, life just gives you the lessons through another person. And it's really quite gentle in the beginning. It's not harsh, and you need to learn to listen. And if you meditate every day, without a fail, the listening becomes normal. It just becomes normal, part of you. And you don't even have to think, I have to listen anymore after the years. You're just told. You get up in the morning and you get told. So that is the stage of the advanced practitioner. And then you've got the stage of somebody who's not doing any spiritual practice at all. And I meet them every single day of my life. And they come in and they're all over the place. There's no peace in their life. Whatever comes to their mind, they think that's what they are. They get disturbed by little things, take everything personally, think God is, even if they believe in a God or a presence, they think that presence is punishing them, and what have they done? They feel victimized, and and it's a hard place to be because they suffer a lot of pain. So that is total ignorance. So here Sri Patanjali tells us that these kleshas, the first one, ignorance, is the forerunner for all the rest. The next one is egoism. Sri Patanjali tells us they are our obstacles. This is our obstacle to go further. Egoism. Now we all know about egoism. And I think for me, many of you are long-term practitioners, and I think you will understand this too. Egoism in a spiritual practitioner is really very dangerous. It really is very dangerous, because it makes that person feel, I'm a real God, when they haven't really understood the concept and think they know it all. And you really have to watch that one. And I'd like to read to you, if it's okay, something about the ego, which I find very pretty in the Upanishads. I'm reading from this version, Eknath Ishwaran, who I love because I can totally understand him. And I'm just going to put on my glasses, forgive me. And it's from the Mundaka Upanishad. And when you understand who you really are, then you can watch your ego. When you can watch your ego, you don't fall into the same old patterns. And this explains it very beautifully. Mundaka Upanishad, for those who have the book, page 192. Like two golden birds perched on the self-same tree. Intimate friends, the ego and the self. They dwell in the same body. So the self is here, and so is our ego. The former, the ego, eats the sweet and sour fruits of the tree of life. So the ego enjoys it all, personal. The Nalanie, not the godlike one that lives within me, enjoys all these things. While the latter, the self, looks on in detachment. What we learned is our witness, the higher self. It looks on with detachment. As long as we think we are the ego, we feel attached and fall into sorrow. Did you hear that? You see, ignorance, egoism, all goes together. As long as we think, oh, this is me, we take everything personally, we get attached and fall into sorrow. But realize that you are the self, the Lord of life, and you will be freed from sorrow. When you realize that you are the self, supreme source of light, supreme source of love, you transcend the duality of life. and enter into the unitive state, which is what we were talking about yesterday. Unity in diversity. And this is how you recognize him, okay? The Lord of love shines in the hearts of all, seeing him in all creatures. The wise forget themselves in the service of all. I love this. Selfless service. The dedicated ever enjoy supreme peace, says our beloved Guru Dev. So live only to serve. The Lord is their joy, the Lord is their rest. Such are they, the lovers of the Lord of love. So this is the feeling you have. And this is why I love how they describe this Ishvara in the Upanishads as the Lord of love. You know, because it's beyond the human love that we know. It's that, how do you explain it? Quite difficult. It's beyond the human love that we know. It goes into a different level. And that's a space you know you're getting there when you don't take things so personally. You know, you're getting there when you start laughing more. People insult you, go, what can I do? At least they're insulting me, they're testing me, you know, they're testing me to see if I'm strong enough, my spiritual muscles, that I can recognize that it's really the divine energy training me, rather than they telling me of the divine energy, using them to train me. So that's when you know you're progressing, you're really progressing on the path. And here it says, how do you get there? By truth. By truth. Truth is so important. You know, not only being truthful to other people, but really being truthful to ourselves. I think this is where we have to start. We have to learn to be truthful to who we are. We try so hard to be like everybody else. That's our ego, because we want to appear the best, or this, or that. Or we have the other side, I'm not good enough. That's the pathetic ego. They're both egos. Too much concentration on I, me, and mine. Both are not good for us. So we need to look at that and say, am I constantly thinking I'm not good enough? Well, that's a real insult to the self that dwells in us, I think. Okay, you may not be good enough in something, but it's great, you learn. You know, I love the fact that, you know, I'm not the best at what I do. I'm not the worst at what I do. I am average, and I think it's such a nice place to be, just to be who God wanted us to be. We don't have to be special to anyone. We just have to be special to the higher self in us. And it's in us. Really it is. It really is right here that we can feel it. We can't feel it through somebody else's heart, although we can connect, you know, but we can only feel it in our own heart. That's why it has to be the Lord of love inside of us. So it says by truth. So follow our truth. Be kind with it. Meditation. And self-control, watching those things that, you know, you have no control over. One can enter into this state of joy and see the self shining in a pure heart. Gurudev always said, blessed are the pure, they shall see God. In a pure heart, in a pure heart. Truth is victorious, never untruth. Truth is the way, truth is the goal of life, reached by sages who are free from this self-will, this, you know, it's got to be my way. The effulgent self, now who is the self? Who is this Ishvara? Who is this Ishvara? Who is beyond thought, shines in the greatest, shines in the smallest, shines in the farthest, shines in the nearest, shines in the secret chamber of the heart. Beyond the reach of the senses is he, but not beyond the reach of a mind stilled through the practice of deep meditation. Beyond the reach of words and works is he or she or it, but not beyond the reach of a pure heart, freed from the sway of the senses. And the next one I'll read and then finish, because for me this is really encouraging for all of us practitioners. Sages are granted all the help they need in everything they do to serve the Lord. Let all those who seek their own fulfillment love and honor the illumined sage. So, egoism. So watch, now understand what ego is. And I thought this explained it so clearly when we're in truth, when we observe deep, quiet, silent meditation, we see clearly who is the witness, who is the witness that is watching the mind think, and we learn to be able to watch all the things that the ego does. And then we don't get involved in all this control or all this possessiveness, this is mine, and all this thing, I have too many desires, I can't do it. No, you don't. For example, you'll say, I feel like a glass of water. So I'll get a glass of water and drink it. Nothing wrong in it. You just observe what is good for you. And then when you see something, oh, this is really not good for me, you watch. The ego wants to have it. Let it learn after a few times and go, oh, it's not really good for me. So the witness starts to learn about the ego. So again, in meditation, all these things come up about ourselves. Don't be frightened. You know, I was very frightened when I saw things about myself. The ego that I didn't like, I never realized it was so horrible. I always thought I was a good person. And I got really quite sad, and I go, no, I just got to get through this. I got to get through this. I've got to forgive it, let it go, and be who I was born to be without all these complexes or these guilt. And, you know, wherever I've done something wrong, go back and apologize and be humble about it. And where I haven't been strong enough, learn to have more courage, learn to be more brave. And so that was a journey for me. And for all of us, it's a journey. It's a great journey of the soul. I think it's the greatest journey on this earth. So the next one is attachment. Basically, I've covered it, but we all know this. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, I think it's verses 62 and 63, I'm not very sure, but you can check. You know, it tells us when we get attached, when we focus on a sense object, we become attached to it. When we become attached to it, the desire, I need it, I want it, I have to have it. When the desire comes and we don't have it, we get upset and angry and annoyed because we can't get that which we desire. When we get angry and annoyed, what happens? We lose discrimination. We really are not thinking straight anymore. And when we lose discrimination, we're totally lost. We're just totally lost. And this is what attachment does. And this is why I said in the beginning, you know, enjoy everything in life. You know, we have this to enjoy, but know the limits of it. Know if it's anything that is overdone will hurt. Anything that is underdone will hurt. And try to balance. Now, how do we do this? How do we do this realistically in our lives? And really, all the greatest New Age writers talk about it. Eckhart Tolle, you know, the power of now. Try and live in just this moment. Just this moment, just this moment, just this moment. I'm really well. Just this moment, just enjoy it. And that's how it's done, this attachment thing. Don't worry about it. Didn't work. Just carry on. You do good, great. You don't do good, also great. Nothing can really be so bad in this life if you don't get so attached to what should be and what shouldn't be. Just let it go. It's constantly letting go with every moment. So attachment, I think everybody knows. Now aversion. Aversion for me was like a little hard, and again, Gurudev taught me this one really well. He always said to me, Nalanie, it's not what you want, or what you don't want. It is what is. It is the way it is. And that's the truth. You know, sometimes we are very adverse. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go through this pain. And that's what I'm dealing with a lot recently. A lot of people, breakups, there's so much going on here. Breakup of families, there's, you know, and I don't want the pain, I don't want the pain. So they get angry, and then the divorces are really quite horrible. This I don't want is also quite troublesome. And I have to teach people to, you know, it is painful. You know, of course it's painful. But you getting so involved in the pain and your ego and poor you syndrome, you're giving yourself more pain than anybody else. You know, it's not your partner that's giving you pain, it's you doing it to yourself. So aversion brings on a lot of pain. I don't want this, and many times you'll see what you don't want, you have to face. You know, you just have to face, it's just life. We have to face things that we love and let them go. We have to face things that we don't love and let them go. And learn to love certain things that, you know, we don't like doing, but maybe have to do. For example, like I said, when I was living in Hong Kong in my family's home, we had a very blessed existence, maids and cooks to cook, and I never had to cook, and I got married, moved to Gibraltar, and I felt like Cinderella. It was really great. And of course, I used to wash dishes and start to wash clothes, and my hands got all eczema all over, and I didn't like it. I was always angry about it. That's why I had the eczema. It was like my anger, my inner anger. But when I started yoga and started meditating and started breathing, and I think it was in the Bhagavad Gita, in one of Gurudev's translations, I read that there was this monk that every time he washed dishes, he thought, God is making music. And so I started to practice that. Oh, ding, 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 God is making music. I'm washing these dishes. It's not my husband's fault that I'm here. I chose to be here. This is my learning. And if I'm going to do it, I'm doing it for God. Okay, sometimes I couldn't do it for my husband and my children. And then I would say, okay, God is in them. I'm doing it for God. I'm doing it for the divine energy. And really, what was that divine energy? The peace in me. So God, poor God, I use the name here and there loosely, but it's nothing to do with that. It was the acceptance in me of everything comes from the same source, of that one energy that vibrates. So, you know, there was no punishment, there was nothing, it was all coming from within myself. I was creating this karma, and if I chose to vibrate at the higher level, which is letting go of everything, I could be happy in the pain. And the aversion to things can turn into learning, lessons, acceptance, growth. You know, Sri Patanjali tells us in Book 2, Sutra 1, accepting pain for purification, swadhyaya, study of spiritual books, and Ishvara Pranidhana, surrendering to Ishvara. You know, this is Kriya Yoga. This is what cleanses us and takes us to the next level of our spiritual growth. How can we say we understand that the divine is in everything as soon as somebody walks in and they don't agree with us and we shout at them? I mean, that's really hypocritical, isn't it? What have we really learned? No wonder the people who live with spiritual people like that gets, oh, I don't want to learn about this yoga. It's really odd. They're not nice people. I can totally understand it. You know? We're not there to do that. We're just there to be examples. And of course it's not easy to be an example. Of course you're going to go through pain. Of course you're going to go through suffering. But accepting pain for purification, this is making me better. That really helps us through all the aversion in our life. This is really what is helping me to become a better person. And you know, really it's quite selfish because I'm a better person. You know, really, as you sow, you reap. There's more better people around you because like attracts like. Positive energy attracts positive energy. So you find that as you go up this ladder, I don't know how else to call it, or inside, the ladder going within, as you go up that ladder, you start to See, the universe provides the teachers for you. The teachers, and the teachers start to come from a higher order, a higher understanding, higher spiritual consciousness, more aware of respecting all life, Mother Nature. And you see, these people will come to your life automatically and beautifully. Beautifully, it's like you've been given the best gifts of your life through these people. And again, non-attachment. Learn, let go. What you don't like, let go. Non-attachment, just learning. Just learning and sharing. Learning and sharing. The Upanishads tells us, as a householder, what should you do with your life? Learn, grow, and share everything that you learn and you grow with. And then finally, the last klesha, things that really stop our spiritual growth. Of course, fear, clinging to bodily life. We get so attached to the body. We get so attached to the body. You know, I see this in a lot of hatha yogis as well. Sorry. I love hatha yoga. I just gave a class this morning, and I love teaching class. But I see a lot of hatha yogis get so entrapped in that body, you know. It's so much about the physical. I think they've forgotten the meaning of asana, steady, comfortable posture. You know, the posture is there so that we can balance and sit quiet with ourselves. It's not about being fancy and the best and competitions. You know, I think it kind of got lost somewhere there. And then I see people more stressed. I can't do this posture, the other, oh my God, you didn't come to the hatha class to learn that. Don't give me a headache with all these things, you know. We're not in competition. Everybody's body is different. The whole idea of asana, which is such a beautiful practice, is to steady you. And it does work on our emotional system. It does. It unblocks a lot of stuff. You know, we hold a lot of fear in our abdomen, etc. The bow pose, you know, the shoulder stand for our thyroid to open up the throat, you know. So many things, not only on a physical level, it really helps us on an emotional level. But when we forget all that it's really worth and focus on how beautiful I look, then we lost it, you know. We lost that. And clinging to the body and how it should look. And today in my world, where I live, everybody's into Botox, and I feel quite sad because the faces are stretched and the neck is old and the face is like this, and we don't know the long-term results of these things. And you know, they just cling, and so fearful. I mean, so many people are frightened to get old. And I go, why are you so frightened? I'm 63 this year, and I'm so excited. Because, you know, every year means 1 year less, and just, you know, I'm quite excited about the next adventure. Don't know where it's going to take me, don't know where I'm going to go, but I know it's an adventure. And but I see people cling and they get frightened, and when somebody dies in their life, they can't move on, they can't grow, and this is a big obstacle because we think this is permanent. Again, arising from ignorance. We're not permanent. It's all going to age one day. We're all going to go one day. So enjoy the moments. Enjoy the grass, enjoy the trees, enjoy your friends, enjoy your enemies, enjoy it all, and at the end of the day, you know, say, I'm losing this body anyway. I'm losing it. But while I have it, let me make it healthy. Let me make it strong. Let me make it an instrument of service, as St. Francis would say. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. And Gurudev changed it. He actually said, no, Nalanie, because I have it right here, but I don't think you can see it in my kitchen wall. Gurudev said, no, Lord, I am an instrument of thy peace. Where there is darkness, let me bring light. Where there is hatred, let me bring love. You know, where there is, you know, discord, let me bring harmony. And this is, where there's hatred, let me bring love. And there's so much, you know, and this is what this instrument is made for. And we know it in our ways, because when we do that and we live in that, there is a peace that just is. It just is. It just is. And then there's this thing, I'm not really doing it for anybody else. I'm really just doing it so I can connect to that one consciousness. And if they benefit, wow, great. But I can't help it because I see that one is in them too. Sometimes the minds cannot see it. Sometimes some people's minds are so blocked, but it doesn't mean they're not in. They're it, like I am it, and we're all it, all one place. But some people just have sick minds, and sometimes that's what they call me, a soul doctor. I think anybody who's a spiritual practitioner becomes a soul doctor, because the medicine we use is love, compassion, understanding. Also sometimes having to be quite strict and strong in truthfulness, and it doesn't matter, if they don't like it, doesn't matter. Truthfulness, straightforwardness, and I think this is really important, courageous. This is medicine. This is the medicine for the soul. And when we use the medicine for the soul, our body heals also. And then, if it doesn't heal, it was meant to have that experience. But if we can understand it, there is an acceptance of it all. So I think it's coming to the end of my time, and those are the Kleshas. Look at things not as sins, you know, and How to Know God, the book. I love the word they use, obstacles. We create our own obstacles. And yoga is the science of the mind, really, and the spirit and the body. It is that science that helps us to remove those obstacles so we can see who we really, truly are. In the end, there is no more me, there is us. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for...
That was wonderful. Everyone here is sending Sotgrande.
Thank you.